and I remember.
I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted, and every hill and mountain shall be made low, the rough places will be made plain, and the crooked places will be made straight, and the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. This is our hope. This is the faith that I go back to the South with. With this faith, we will be able to hew out of the mountain of despair a stone of hope.
Coca-Cola Beverages Florida and the entire Coca-Cola system have a history of standing for optimism, diversity, and inclusion, and against hate and intolerance. The company has a deep commitment of bringing people and communities together for a common ground. On behalf of the associates and leadership team at Coke Florida, even in our virtual format, we are pleased to be able to continue our support of the 14th annual Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Unity Breakfast.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Willerton Petit, the president of the Xi Omicron Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. On behalf of the chapter and the Southwest Florida Alpha Educational and Leadership Foundation, we are very pleased to welcome you to the 14th annual Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Unity Breakfast. During this time of a pandemic, we are unable to gather in person to celebrate the life and achievements of Dr. Martin Luther King. So we are bringing this to you virtually in accordance with the guidelines provided by the CDC. Thank you to each and every one of you for gathering with us today. Hope you enjoy the presentation ahead. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. It is my privilege today to give praise and thanks and a prayer on behalf of this organization and on this event, this occasion. So let us pray. Oh, gracious and loving Lord, we come before you this day. First of all, thanking you, Lord, for your mercy and your grace. And Lord, for opportunity that we can stand at this place this day, where in this country we have lost so many. We come before you, Lord, lifting up this day in honor of you and the blessing you bestowed upon us, that we can honor one of your creations, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Father, we lift him up because you created him, much like you created Moses and David and all of your other disciples to go forth and do good work. And Father, for this organization, we give you honor and thanks that you allow us to honor him. So Father, this day we praise you and we glorify you. We thank you for the opportunity on this day. In Christ's holy name we pray. Amen.
2021 marks the 14th annual presentation of our tribute to Brother Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. During these 14 years, the community support has been tremendous, dating back to our very first breakfast, which was held in the cafeteria of Dunbar High School, to our transition to the Dr. Carey Robinson Center in Fort Myers, and then ultimately to the Harborside Convention Center, where we were able to welcome approximately 500 guests. Most recently, we have been able to utilize the services of the Sidney and Byrne Davis Arts Center. And this year, in spite of the pandemic, we are committed to continue to recognize Dr. King, as well as recognize some of our local community heroes. And today, we present our 2021 virtual version of our Dr. Martin Luther King Unity Breakfast. Over the years, we have been very, very fortunate to have some dynamic guest speakers from the local as well as national levels. Examples of some of our past speakers are Dr. Audrey Anderson, Mr. Abdul Haq Muhammad, Olympic champion Bob Beeman, our very own brother, local brother, Brother Jared Eady, Fort Myers Police Chief Derek Diggs, Superintendent of Schools of Lee County Schools, Dr. Gregory Atkins, and last year, Brother Dr. Ed Jackson, who was the chief architect of the design of the King Memorial in Washington, D.C. This year, we will hear from several of our local as well as national leaders. In 2017, the members of Alpha Phi Alpha Incorporated announced the inaugural presentation of the Keeper of the Dream Award to recognize individuals and organizations in the community. This year, we have 5 outstanding recipients that you will meet shortly.
This portion of the 14th Annual Dr. Martin Luther King Unity Breakfast is brought to you by the Alliance for the Arts, the City of Fort Myers, Councilwoman Teresa Watkins Brown, and the Fort Myers Community Redevelopment Agency.
Good morning. I am honored to bring greetings on behalf of the Fort Myers City Council to the 14th Annual and the first virtual Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Unity Breakfast. Thank you to the Southwest Florida Educational and Leadership Foundation, Inc. for your dedication and commitment to this great event. I was just 5 years old when Dr. King gave his famous Dream speech. I can only imagine the significance of his words. I have a dream that my 4 little children will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. What it must have felt like to truly understand how many people these words gave hope to. While we as a nation have come a long way, we cannot and will not rest on our achievements in the area of equality, but will continue to work diligently, striving for an environment where equality is the standard and not the exception. Off the beaten paths at the National Mall in Washington, D.C., where there is a special place for reflection and contemplation, sits the first major monument on the National Mall that is dedicated to a non-president African American. A monument dedicated to one of the greatest civil rights leaders in this country has ever seen. This memorial stands as a testament to the life of a man who left an unforgettable mark on the history of the United States. On one of the walls is engraved a quote from Dr. King's Dream speech. Out of a mountain of despair, a stone of hope. In fact, the visitors passed through 2 stone walls representing the mountain of despair before they arrived to the stone of hope. Why is this monument significant? Because not only does it remind us of the past struggles and how far we have come, but it challenges us to look to the future and how far we can go. We are conquering the mountain of despair, and as a united nation, we need now to build up the stone of hope. We must continue Dr. King's legacy of equality, the elimination of poverty, and the fostering of both educational and economic opportunity. And let's never forget, Dr. King's nonviolent methods were effective in creating change. Let us honor his efforts by coming together to fight for equality and justice for all Americans, regardless of their race, ethnicity, gender, or sexual orientation. Let us continue to build hope in Dr. King's dream. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Councilman Johnny Street, City of Fort Myers, Ward 2. And I'm honored to be here among all of our friends this morning, and we thank you for being here. You look so beautiful. And on behalf of the City of Fort Myers, which you'll hear this again, we welcome you, relax, you'll learn a whole lot, and we thank you for coming today. Our theme is about hope, which is about faith. If you have faith, you have hope, and then you have change. So on behalf of the City of Fort Myers and all its council people and the employees, we welcome you today and enjoy your day and be blessed. Thank you very much.
My name is Sonia McCarter, and I'm the Community Engagement Coordinator here at the Alliance for the Arts. Our mission is to transform our community through the arts, and we strive to create spaces that people can come together and connect and creatively express themselves and talk about things that really, really matter. And it's partnerships like these that truly inspire us and bring us joy. So on behalf of the Alliance Board of Directors and staff, we thank you for allowing us to participate in this great celebration.
On behalf of the members of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated and members of the Southwest Florida Alpha Educational and Leadership Foundation, we would like to take this opportunity to thank our very generous supporters of this event, supporters as well as sponsors of this event. It's through your generous contributions that we're able to help provide scholarships to deserving high school students here in Lee County. And for 14 years, 14 continuous years, I might add, your support has been very integral in allowing us to be able to help and support students in this community. Today, we would like to take this opportunity to thank our 2021 sponsors for helping make this event possible, as well as being able to allow us to provide scholarships to students this coming year.
In 2017, the members of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, the Xi Omicron Lambda chapter, announced the inaugural presentation of the Keeper of the Dream Award to denote the 10th anniversary of our Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Unity Breakfast. The award was established to recognize individuals and organizations in the community that embody the spirit of Dr. King's vision, as well as the quote, "Life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others?" It is in that spirit that the Keeper of the Dream Award continues in the year 2021. We ask all of you, our breakfast participants and honorees for this year's breakfast, to think about the question, what are you doing for others? And understand that even in the mountains of despair, there is always a stone of hope. Thank you and good morning.
Good morning. My name is Carlton Crabbe. I live in San Carlos Park, and I do the community of service by feeding them.
2020, a year that we are least likely to forget. Many of us found ourselves facing some of the most profound hopelessness that we had ever experienced. Our mental safety nets were challenged, economic downturn, sickness, a rising death toll that we continue to face even to this day, grief and despair like we've never known. Let us find encouragement by examining despair throughout the course of history, those little lights that would shine to help comfort us in the darkest nights, the warm blankets that would surround us just as winters became too much for us to endure. During tough times, there will always be those who will rise to the occasion, those who are there to help heal the world. Out of mountains of despair, the stones of hope. Mr. Rogers, you all remember him, a childhood favorite. He would share the story that when he would see terrible things happening on the news, his mother would say to him, "Look for the helpers. You will always find people who are helping." Now, I invite you to learn more about Carlton Crabbe, a 2021 recipient of the Keeper of the Dream Award.
Carlton Crabbe is a humanitarian and volunteer, providing service in Southwest Florida by offering free meals to his local community and neighbors during the COVID-19 pandemic.
Well, just like Dr. King, he likes to try to bring everybody together. And by me feeding the community, I bring all types of people together. And that's what I intend to do and keep on doing.
Carlton's desire to help his community was birthed through his personal creed. There is something I can do. There's got to be something that I can do.
Well, when the COVID hit and I was driving around my neighborhood and I've seen people with signs talking about we're hungry, can you help us, we're homeless. I went back to my wife and I talked to her and said, there's something I could do, something I gotta do. And I just started cooking hamburgers and hot dogs right in my driveway. And one thing led to another, and then I had donations from the community, which enabled me to keep going. And it's really, really been awesome. Just to do what I'm doing to help these people, it's a blessing. Awesome. I'm telling you, it's the best feeling. When I meet people from all walks, they come up and they say, look, I don't have any food, I don't have any money. I said, it's free, help yourself. When I see them leaving and they got a smile on their face, it makes me feel awesome. And that's the same thing, King. He wants everybody to get along, everybody to come together as one. And that's what I intend to do.
Honoree Carlton Crabbe's spirit of service demonstrates the heart of Dr. King's quote, "The time is always right to do what is right."
Once again, to bring as many people and feed as many people as I can in this community. And just hope that it all turns around very soon. In the meantime, I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing. I just don't like to see anybody starve, man. I don't think anybody should go to sleep without eating. Never. And as long as I can feed these people, I'm gonna do it. I mean, that's my passion. It keeps me. I just love to do it. I'm sorry. I saw this man, he was, oh my God, excuse me, I'm sorry. He just needed help. And I said, come on by and I feed it. He brought his whole family and I fed him, and I've been doing it almost every night. I love it. I just enjoy making sure everybody's taken care of.
The Xi Omicron Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated and the Southwest Florida Alpha Educational and Leadership Foundation would like to present the 2021 Keeper of the Dream Award to Carlton Crabbe.
Good morning, everyone. Once again, I would like to thank Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity for recognizing the work that I've done in the community. And I appreciate everything and all the donations from all the communities, people around. I just want to thank God and thank you guys. God bless.
This portion of the 14th annual Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Unity Breakfast is brought to you by Theta Nu Omega Chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, the Housing Authority of the City of Fort Myers, and Brother Matthew Bradford.
Hello, I'm Gwenetta Gittins. I'm on the Lee County School Board and I represent District 5.
This year has been a challenge in so many ways. We have been faced with incidences of violence, large-scale protests, mirrored in chaos, compounded by a global pandemic that has left no life untouched. Grief, loss, stress, fear, anxiety, these emotions have been our companions for so long. We feel etched in a mountain of despair, unable to see a way forward to light. But even in the darkness, the great conjunction can be seen in the night sky, two stones, two pinpoints of light in the dark night coming together to create a blaze of hope. Such a light has not been seen in 800 years. And that light is mirrored in our lives with hopes. Hopes in the form of a vaccine that will bring some normalcy to our days, and hopes in the form of a heightened awareness of social inequities, and a determination to relinquish the injustice of the past and adjust social norms, holding firmly to the belief that all are created and seen as equal in the eyes of God and our nation. These hopes are beacons that guide us to a greater truth. These hopes are our purpose and strength. I now invite you to learn more about Gwynetta Gittins, a 2021 recipient of the Keeper of the Dream Award.
In 2018, Gwynetta Gittins made history as the first Black Lee County School Board member. During her first year in office, she also served as board chair. Gwenetta's professional experience includes serving as an educator, adjunct professor, entrepreneur, and the Vice President of Training and Development for Bank of America of Florida.
Dr. King was an educator, and he taught us how to listen and to learn about and observe our situations and then come up with an answer. And he taught us to use our brain and not our brawn. The district's goal is to provide equitable education for all students so that they can reach their own personal potential. And I continually remind people at the district about the word equity. Most people think they know the definition of equity, but a lot of times they don't, because what they don't understand is equity can be different for me, for you, for everyone. What's equitable to me may not be the same to you. And my goal is to help the district to understand how to prioritize that equity. How do we give opportunities to all students in a timely manner? And I think we must find a solution, like to the achievement gap. It's been the same for so many years. And we have to take care of those students that are on the bottom of it, give them the opportunity, and you never know. When they catch up, they may surpass the ones that are above them now.
Amidst many endeavors, Gittins remains committed to bridge communication gaps between the school district of Lee County and the families that it serves.
My first thought when I hear Dr. King's quote about the content of your character and not the color of your skin is that I long for the day that we can walk into a room and just not be judged at all. Not at all. I can't change my skin. I can change my words if they offend you. And you are the only one that can change your mind about me and about anyone that walks into that room. If I think about it and look at how I can help you change your mind, that's my goal. That's what I want to do. The goal of educators, though, is to educate a child's mind and heart and their conscience. If we think about it over the years, if we taught that and nourished that in children, we would get to a point where no one would walk into a room and judge me for the way I look. They would judge me for what I know and if I'm able to do it. Every student is different, and we have to understand that difference does not mean less than. It just means different. We have to teach our students the importance of helping their dreams come true. And like I said, over time, we could eradicate. We could make this whole quote from Dr. King just go away. Just eradicate it totally by teaching people when you go in a room, you're not looking at how I look. You're listening to what I say.
Honoree Gwynetta Gittins' commitment to teaching and learning highlights Dr. King's quote, "The function of education is to teach one to think intensively and to think critically. Intelligence plus character, that is the goal of true education."
When I talk about my dream for Southwest Florida in relationship to being a dream keeper, I think about a puzzle. And if you think a 500-piece puzzle, and everybody walks into the room and they all have some pieces in their hand, and I'm the last one to walk in the room. All the edges are done, everything is done except this one little piece in the middle. And I have those pieces. If you ignore my thoughts, my ideas, my suggestions, you're never going to get the puzzle fixed. And that's my dream, that we all realize that everybody has a purpose. My piece of the puzzle isn't any more important than your piece, but it is important because without it, we'll never see all of our dreams and all of our goals for our whole community. If we want that whole beautiful picture that God wants for us, that our children are waiting for, we have to figure out how do we put everybody in the room, look at everybody's puzzle pieces, and put it all together.
The Xi Omicron Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated and the Southwest Florida Alpha Educational and Leadership Foundation would like to present the 2021 Keeper of the Dream Award to Gwynetta Gittins.
Thank you so much. Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you. You're cozy and warm in your bed and having a really good dream. It's in full color and surround sound, and it's a really good dream to you. If the dream is bad, you're tossing and turning, trying to wake yourself up. You don't want to see how it ends. But if it's good, you're trying to stay asleep so you can see it all the way to the end. Keep dreaming those good dreams, because you know the only way to make them come true is to wake up and put them into action. We can do that by mentoring and helping others and helping them achieve their dreams as well. Paying it forward is what keeps the dream alive. There's no such thing in my mind as a self-made person. Everyone, unless you were brought up on an island somewhere all by yourself, we all need each other. We need each other to nurture, to share, to listen, to care, to love, to give others a chance, to open doors that make all of our dreams come true. Your dreams are your dreams. They're limitless. In your dreams, nobody is going to tell you no. No one is going to tell you that you're not enough or that you are not capable or you don't have the ability. It's your dream. So now I'm going to gently wake you up from that good dream that you're having. But know that when you wake up, you don't have to be asleep to know the end of your dream. In fact, you must be wide awake. You must be wide awake to the possibilities, to the hard work that it's going to take, the mentoring, and bringing someone else along, but be wide awake to ensure that your dream is put into action. I thank God for all of my good dreams because, as he says, all good and perfect gifts come from him. I thank my husband, Martin, for his support and his patience in listening to me, even my speech, over and over again. I also want to thank my son, Jonathan, because he reminds me all the time of the reasons that I think before I speak, that I think before I act, because there is always someone watching and listening to every word that you say. And I sincerely want to thank Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. God bless you for recognizing me for this honor and the honor of being with such an illustrious group of honorees, of other dream keepers, and to walk in the footsteps of Dr. King. We, as dream keepers, dream in full color and surround sound. The difference is we wake up and put those dreams into action. Thank you, and God bless.
I'm Tracy McMillion, Fire Chief of the City of Fort Myers Fire Department.
For I was a product of alpha men who were faithful, alpha men who answered Dr. King's call to be the stone of hope. They did their best to ensure that the next generation would have every opportunity to succeed. I am so grateful for Dr. King's legacy. I know if it was not for his dream and faith that he could move that mountain of despair that towered over the daily lives of Black people in America, this kid from the muck would not have had the opportunity to be a scholar athlete and national champion on Florida State's university football team. Go Noles. His stone of hope paved the way to make it possible for me to be the very first Black mayor elected to serve Miramar, Florida's 150,000 diverse residents, and a successful business owner of one of Florida's fastest growing minority-owned construction companies, Messam Construction. Because of Dr. King, I defy the odds, becoming one of 22 recognized Democratic Party candidates for President of the United States. Wow, ponder that. Now, as we all reflect on the life and legacy of Dr. King, you too have a testimony. Many of you are the very first in your family or even your field of profession to accomplish something that has never been done before as a person of color. We all stand on the shoulders of Dr. King. We all owe a tremendous debt to his legacy, a debt that must be repaid. We cannot become complacent in our own personal successes. We may not face the same mountain of despair as Dr. King did, but if you really think about it, truly think about it, we are facing mountains of despair of our day, today. Mountains that seek to bring our nation back to the mountain of criminal injustice, the mountain of high unemployment for Black people, the mountain of no access to health care, the mountain of crippling student loan debt, the mountain of suppression, voter suppression, and the mountain of insurrection of these very United States of America, an act we just watched at our nation's capital this past week. Inaction by us, the privilege, is not an option. Recognizing these mountains of despair, a glaring question remains for us as beneficiaries of Dr. King's legacy. What will we do to be that stone of hope for a nation that desperately needs action to ensure that the promise of America becomes a reality for all, just as Dr. King dreamed she would be? Now, I invite you to learn more about Tracy McMillion, a 2021 recipient of the Keeper of the Dream Award.
Tracy McMillion's appointment as the City of Fort Myers' fire chief in 2019 was a historic moment as he became the first Black man in the city's history to hold this key position.
So public service and firefighting at its core, we don't see color, we don't see social economics. When someone utilizes that universal 911 system, we're going. It doesn't matter where you live or what color you are, we are there to answer the call for help. So we treat everyone the same. So as Dr. King's dream was to be able to judge people by the content of the character versus the color of their skin, out of very essence, when we respond to a call for help, we don't care who you are. We don't care what you look like. We don't care where you come from. We're going to give you that treatment. And the thing that's great about that essence is we are able to build relationships. We're able to give service, and people appreciate that about the fire service because it doesn't matter. We are colorless, and we are basically, not caring about what you look like. We're just there to help you. So 911 is beautiful in that aspect.
Tracy's commitment to public service can be traced back to his family's heritage and legacy, with his father, mother, and brother serving in various public safety roles in the state of Florida and the state of New York.
Yeah, so I think, having that philosophy and that theory and that foundation of public service, of having that, of treating everyone that, it transcends and it puts it into your personal life. One of the things that's so beautiful about the fire service is that we live with each other for 24 hours. So you actually are there living with people of different colors, different backgrounds, different cultures. And so it puts you into a stance where you can share who you are. And they can look past who you are because we're all wearing a uniform. You can look past, what your color may be and see your character. When you're sitting on those late night calls and you're talking about life, you can see some similarities, you can see some differences, you can pick up from each other. So I think, when I look at Dr. King's dream and what it means to me personally is I think we have a little work to do still, but I think we're progressing. One of the things I also say is the dichotomy of when I'm wearing my uniform, people see me differently. When I take my uniform off, it changes. And I wish we could get to a stage, and I think that's what the essence of Dr. King's dream was, is that regardless of what I'm wearing or what I'm presenting, that people would be willing to see who I truly am as a person. Not just assume because I have the badges and the bling of, being this, this chief officer, but when I'm just wearing my Nikes or my Jordans or whatever I'm doing, that people would have the same type of mindset of saying, hey, look, that's a good individual, and I'm gonna find out more about him, so.
Honoree Tracy McMillion embodies the essence of Dr. King's quote, "The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy."
So Southwest Florida, me and my wife had the blessing of being able to go out and remodel a home. And as we're in that big box tile store and we're looking at all these different tile, I was attracted to the mosaics. And the reason why, and I say this as an analogy, is that those mosaic tiles, you have all these different color pops of, color and different irregularities of sizes, and together, man, it just makes a beautiful piece. And I would love for Southwest Florida, my dream is for Southwest Florida to be a mosaic, where everyone adds to the color pop of that one piece of tile that brings the beauty of it. And you can actually sit there and look at that mosaic and see, the jade or the reds or the blues or whatever color might be, that black, and just say, man, that's a beautiful color pop, and really appreciate the beauty of it. And then as a community of Southwest Florida, if we could just get to that point where we become a mosaic and everyone is appreciated for what they bring to that piece of tile, that platform, man, it would just be a beautiful place. That's my dream, is that we all could just be beautiful together.
The Xi Omicron Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated and the Southwest Florida Alpha Educational and Leadership Foundation would like to present the 2021 Keeper of the Dream Award to Tracy McMillion.
This is truly special. I'd like to say on behalf of the Fort Myers Fire Department, my wife, my family, and especially God, I just want to thank this opportunity to be able to have such an award here. To be able to say the Keeper of the Dream is something that's really close to my heart. I had a dream one day to actually be a firefighter. As a young African-American man, just seeing firefighters that came to the school, people of color, encouraging us to actually want to become and get into the fire service, that became my dream. So to be able to have an award that says the Keeper of the Dream, I still feel the burden, the pressure, and the desire to do more. I think there comes a lot to this, to be able to say, to be in the same conversation of Dr. Martin Luther King and his accomplishments and what he means to our nation, our country, and even on a global aspect, to be able to say that I have a award that has something tied to him, his dream, is something that's truly special. I take this award and I use this award as motivation to do more. There's definitely more opportunities to be able to reach a community, to create more dreams, and hopefully get more people to actually dream a little deeper and a little harder, to be able to make sure that we can keep pushing the mark forward and keep moving forward, just as Dr. King would like. So thank you, Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity, this wonderful chapter that has given this award to us today. I appreciate it. I'm humbled and honored to be thought of to be able to receive this award. Thank you.
This portion of the 14th Annual Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Unity Breakfast is brought to you by Regions Bank, Friendship Missionary Baptist Church, and the School District of Lee County.
Good morning. My name is Dr. Peter Ndiang'ui. I am the president of the African Network of Southwest Florida. I'm also an educator in Florida Gulf Coast University. I also currently chair the Mayor's Diversity and Inclusion Advisory Committee of Fort Myers. Thank you for having me here.
Being a preacher, theologian, and prophet of social justice, Dr. King gives us many notable inspirational quotes from his many sermons, speeches, and books. For this year's Unity Breakfast, we've chosen the theme, Out of a Mountain of Despair, a Stone of Hope, taken from his iconic I Have a Dream speech. But put in context, the entirety of this quote is, with this hope, we will be able to hew out of the mountain of despair a stone of hope. The mountain of despair Dr. King was referring to was the segregation, racism, poverty, and injustices that plagued African American life 100 years after the Emancipation Proclamation and the end of slavery. The stone of hope Dr. King was referring to was the belief, the aspiration, even the expectation that someday freedom, opportunity, and justice would prevail, and that mountain of despair would dissipate into a molehill of insignificance. But what tool does one use to hew out of the mountain of despair a stone of hope? The tool that hews out this stone of hope is the mobilization of people of goodwill, armed with faith, love, a commitment to justice and service to others. People who look to serve their congregation, community, and country in ways that benefit all of humanity, ever working to bend the arc of the universe towards justice. For peace, according to Dr. King, was not the absence of tension, it was the presence of justice. We've got yet much work to do to turn that mountain of despair into that molehill of significance. But Dr. Peter Ndiang'ui is one such individual in our community who is helping to hew that stone of hope. Now, I invite you to learn more about Dr. Peter Ndiang'ui, a 2021 recipient of the Keeper of the Dream Award.
Dr. Peter Ndiang'ui serves the community as the president of the African Network of Southwest Florida and a professor at Florida Gulf Coast University.
My name is Peter Ndiang'ui again. I am an educator, and the work of education is really to further the dream. You need to inspire young people to know that in spite of the challenges that they still have hope. You need to instill that hope, and that's the work I do. As the president of the African Network of Southwest Florida, I represent a group of people, mainly people who came recently from Africa. We are stereotyped. People see us as if we are almost lesser human beings. We try to show we are, and we bring something to the community, and we belong to this community. This is the place we call home. We try to bring in the good of Africa, that I am because you are, and you are because I am. We try to tell the people that we can coexist regardless of our diverse backgrounds. We are so proud of belonging to this community, and we are so proud to be part of the work we do, and we appreciate being here a great deal. Thank you.
Peter champions the importance of diversity and inclusion through his leadership as the chief organizer of the City of Fort Myers Mayor's Diversity and Inclusion Advisory Committee and a member of the School District of Lee County's Equity and Diversity Advisory Committee.
My personal thoughts about Dr. King's dream about people being judged by the content of their character. That is as it should be. I heard those words from the beginning in Kenya when we were doing our early education in 4th grade. We knew about the dream. We knew that we need to judge everybody, not by how they look, not by their religion, not by their gender, not by anything else, but by the content of their character. In spite of the challenges that we all have sometimes, and the diversity differences that come in, people are just people. We are all children of God, and diversity is beautiful. The differences we have build strength in all of us. Martin Luther King Jr. gave us hope that we can live that dream. Sometimes we have gone through difficult times, and sometimes we feel like giving up, but we cannot. We cannot. The soul of America, although sometimes it's not been realized, means that we can all enjoy what this bounty brings in this country. It's an amazing country with diverse people, and all of us can coexist. All of us can live that dream in the mountains of despair that we face, in all the problems that we have experienced, police brutality, and the other things that we face in our work and everywhere. We still have to hang on to the dream. Thank you, Dr. Martin Luther King. Thank you for giving us hope. I'm an eternal optimist, and I do know one day, all of us, our children and the children of our children, will be treated not by the color of their skin, but the content of their character. Our women will be treated not by their gender, but by the intelligence, by the things that they bring to the community. Our Muslim people will be treated equal as the Christians. Our LGBTQ people will be treated the same way. Our different nationalities where we come from Africa, we are not from any countries less than anybody else. We are all the same, and the dream lives on in our hearts, and the dream will be a reality one day. That's our belief, that's what I live on, and everything I do, I treat everybody with respect because that's how they should be treated. Thank you.
Honoree Dr. Peter Ndiang'ui showcases Dr. King's quote, "Be the peace you wish to see in the world."
My dream about the Southwest Florida community is something I live every day. Anybody I meet, white, black, yellow, young, old, anybody, I see we smile with each other. We enjoy moments together, we eat together. And then some strange things happen sometimes. I don't know what happens when we part. We see them looking at each other in terms of the color of their skin. We see them looking at each other in other differences. The voting 4 years ago was so scary that even after somebody has said what he does to women, even after somebody despises or segregates or there is inequalities, my friends in Southwest Florida still voted for him. I am not here to tell people how to vote. That's their choice. But let's be serious about this. We can all live together, appreciating the beauty that we have in Southwest Florida. This is paradise, my friends. This is where we belong. There's a place for each one of us. Those who are born here, those who came recently like us from Africa, there's a place for each one of us. And it's through our differences, in all the things we do, we can enjoy what this brings, and we can enjoy it better. A more just society will make us enjoy better what this brings. A fair society where everybody is given a chance, not because of the color of their skin, not because of anything else, but by the content of their characters, Martin Luther King taught us, but by their abilities, merit, by everything they do. Let's give everybody a chance. Thank you for giving me this chance, that with my accent I can call Southwest Florida home, and I can enjoy living here, and I feel honored in my 18 years here that they have made very many friends from different walks of life, and I do believe my children will have the same. Let's keep working on it. It's a process. We will transform this community together. Thank you so much.
The Xi Omicron Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated and the Southwest Florida Educational and Leadership Foundation would like to present the 2021 Keeper of the Dream Award to Dr. Peter Ndiang'ui.
Mr. Wilton, gentlemen of Alpha Phi Alpha Incorporated, thank you so much. This is a special honor. I'm deeply humbled that a boy from Madakwainu village in Kenya could find a place to get an award thousands and thousands of miles away in Southwest Florida. I accept this award humbly on behalf of many people who in the mountains of despair have been stones of hope. My parents and the community of the village where I grew up, thank you for being stones of hope when we are suffering the yoke of colonialism. My brothers and sisters, thank you for being there for me. My wife, thank you for pushing me up, that you can do it, Peter. My children, thank you so much for being stones of hope. My colleagues, particularly Dr. Hassan Aydin, Dr. Ali Zhou, President Michael Martin, Ms. Precious Gunter, and many, many more have made me feel welcome in Florida Gulf Coast University, have found me worthy to teach there at a professorial level. Thank you for being stones of hope in the midst of despair. Thank you all for this moment, particularly for the people from Africa, that you have helped us to be home. We are truly grateful for this honor that you have accepted us as your brothers and sisters, and we enjoy this community. Once again, brothers of Alpha Phi Alpha Incorporated, we are truly honored, we are truly humbled, and this means much more to us than you ever imagined. I accept it on behalf of the people of Africa Network, on the people I live with, on the people I work with, and on behalf of all people who try to keep the dream, because the dream lives on. Thank you.
Hello, I'm attorney Joe North with the North Law Firm.
Out of a mountain of despair, a stone of hope. This past year, a pandemic revolutionized our day-to-day lives. Zoom meetings, socially distanced gatherings, and mask mandates became the norm, while handshakes, high fives, and hugs became taboo. Yet, a stone of hope. Friends, colleagues, and neighbors banded together during this unprecedented time. We learned to look for the helpers, and we will continue to do so as we push a path forward. We will always believe in the goodness of mankind. Ladies and gentlemen, I invite you to learn more about Joe North, the 2021 recipient of the Keeper of the Dream Award.
Fort Myers native Joe North has been a personal injury attorney and notable philanthropist in the Southwest Florida community for over 30 years.
At my law firm, we provide service not just in terms of legal services, which is a big part of it, because the legal services and the compensation that we're able to receive for our clients, that helps us to provide another service to the community. Throughout this community, there are certain needs, whether it be religious or athletic, for the kids, a lot of different things. And me being from this community, there's no bigger joy that I have than being a service of the community. So when I'm able to go out there and either be present at some of these events or to give financially to these events, to me, that's what it's all about, service to the community. And I think that that is following what Dr. King would have wanted us to do.
For decades, Joe has handled injury and wrongful death cases throughout the state of Florida and across America.
A big part of Dr. King's dream is that we, everyone, would be judged by the content of their character and not the color of their skin. And that's a dream that he had, that's a dream that we all have now, and that our kids will have and grandkids. And I say now, and our kids and grandkids, is because that dream has not yet been fulfilled. That's a dream that we all work on every day, individually and collectively. And what that means is that what we're trying to do is make it where if someone is being perceived by anyone else, it's all based upon merit and not just a first impression of what that person looks like or where that person comes from. It's what that person brings to the table. And at the end of the day, what that person brings to the table is what helps us all as a community. So a part of Dr. King's dream, which is not yet fulfilled, we're working on, is so that we will all be able to stand on our own merits and not just the covering that we have.
Honoree Joe North's commitment to social justice and civic action exemplified Dr. King's quote, "Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere."
And as I think about Dr. King and his dream, I think about what is my dream. And my dream is, if you'll excuse the pun, dream team. We're all familiar with dream teams in terms of superstars and everybody working together. But when I look at Southwest Florida in terms of whether it be Dunbar, which is where I'm from, or the entire county, or the 3-county area, I look at it as though we're all working on the same team, trying to achieve the same goals, because at the end of the day, we all want the same thing, and that is to protect what Dr. King talked about, our inalienable rights for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And we all want that. So we need to help one another work on the same team. What's good for me is good for you. And the best way to do that, the absolute best way, I think, is through empathy. If I can put myself in your shoes and understand why you do what you do, or what it is that you do, or why you think the way you think, that's gonna make me better, and that's gonna make our entire community better. So in essence, my dream, I'll expand upon it, is Dream Team.
The Xi Omicron Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated and the Southwest Florida Alpha Educational and Leadership Foundation would like to present the 2021 Keeper of the Dream Award to Joe North.
Wow. I want to say thank you very much for honoring me with this award. I'm humbled by it, but also I just want to thank you guys, the local chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha, for all that you're doing here locally and globally. You guys are amazing. Thanks again.
This portion of the 14th annual Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Unity Breakfast is brought to you by Dr. Reginald Bruno and attorney Kathy Dupuy Bruno and family, and the North Law Firm.
I'm pleased to join you for the 14th annual Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Unity Breakfast, sponsored by Southwest Florida Alpha Educational and Leadership Foundation and presented through this virtual format. I extend congratulations to this year's Keeper of the Dream honorees for their leadership and service, and I offer special congratulations to our Lee County School Board member and 2021 honoree, Mrs. Gwynetta Gittins, for her continued dedication to the students and families in our local community. The year's overall theme serves as a reminder and timely challenge for each of us to become stones of hope. Education is not a one-size-fits-all. Our students come from more than 150 countries and speak more than 100 different languages. We must engage students in order to educate them and to close opportunity gaps. But we cannot do it alone. The challenges the children in our community face are vast. It takes all of us working together to support our students as they work to overcome these challenges. Partnerships fostered with the community organizations and nonprofits are examples of stones of hope that harness a wealth of community knowledge and resources to support our students, reaching their fullest potential. I challenge you to always consider the voices of our students and young leaders, for they are our future.
Well, it has really impacted my educational journey because I was able to buy my textbooks this year, which were very expensive. I was not expecting college books to be that expensive, but they are. But I was able to buy my college textbooks, materials for school like pens, notebooks, stuff like that. I was able to purchase my stylus for my iPad and just a bunch of things that I'm using to do well in school that have helped me. I was able to use the scholarship for that. So I'm really thankful for that. My advice that I would give to current high school seniors or even juniors that are looking to apply for scholarships for college, first of all, make sure that you have good grades because you're not going to even really be considered for scholarships if you don't have good grades and if you're not, keeping up with your studies, doing well in school. So make sure that you are doing well in school because it's really important. And then as far as looking for them, there are scholarships everywhere. You can find pretty much a scholarship for anything if you look hard enough, but I would suggest checking with your guidance counselor. They might have some. I remember my guidance counselor helped me a lot with that. And just looking for local organizations for things that you're interested in or that that you have a passion for that you can relate to, like scholarship-wise. I would say check Google for local organizations and stuff that can help you out. Especially nowadays in today's times, it is so important that we are making sure that we are aware of what's going on in the world, especially in America. All over the world, we need to be aware of what's happening, like from a worldly perspective. But especially here in America, we have so much that we need to undo and rebuild. And especially in today's current times with COVID, from an economic standpoint, it's so challenging for so many people. So I would say the best way for people like young people like me to get involved in giving back and helping the community locally is just to be aware of what's going on and make sure that you are telling your friends, educating your friends, and people that are of voting age voting. That's very important. You need to do that. I would say just please make sure that you're aware of what's going on because it's so important that you are aware of everything that's going on.
Hello, and my name is Esmond Lewis. I'm a proud member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, and it is my honor to be able to do this appeal on behalf of the many scholars, both past, present, and future, who are the beneficiaries of your generosity. So let me just tell you a little bit about myself. I come from a Pentecostal background, very familiar with offering appeals, and sometimes the offering plate isn't what the preacher wants it to be. So they ask for a second appeal to look into the deepness of your heart and come up with something generous and cheerful for the Lord. And in that same spirit, we are asking for your generosity with respect to your donations towards our scholarship fund. As you know, this year's breakfast is a little bit different. We're not here together in the same room eating a meal and sharing each other's presence physically, but we can be here whenever and wherever you are viewing this program from. In the link description of this program, there will be a link to be able to provide a donation to the Southwest Florida Alpha Educational Foundation. And these donations that you will donate will help and assist other scholars like Stephanie Bruno, who is on this program as this year's 2020 scholar, and the other past scholars like 2019's Dalen Poe-Salters and Tierra Broughton, who are the beneficiaries of a minimum of $1,000 to help their pursuits in their educational endeavors. I ask that you reach deep into your hearts, deep into your pockets, and give as generously as you can to these scholars. Every dime of your donations will go towards our scholarship fund and to be able to assist future scholars like these young and great minds in their pursuit of higher education. We thank you so much for your generosity. Hit the link below, and we'll look for you next year's breakfast.
We wear the mask. It grins and lies. It shades our cheeks and hides our eyes. The debt we pay to human guile with torn and bleeding hearts, we smile. and mouth the myriad subtleties. Why should the world think otherwise in counting all our tears and sighs? Nay, let them only see us while we wear the mask. We smile. Oh my God, our tears to thee from tortured souls arise, and we sing, we sing. The clay is vile beneath our feet and long the mile, but let the world think otherwise. We wear the mask. When I think about myself, I almost laugh myself to death. My life has been one great big joke, a dance that's walked, a song that spoke. I laugh so hard, I almost choke. When I think about myself, 70 years in this folks' world, the child I works for calls me girl. I say, yes, ma'am, for working's sake. I'm too proud to bend and too poor to break, so I laugh till my stomach ache when I think about myself. My folks can make me split my side. I laugh so hard, I nearly died. The tales they tell sound like lying. They grow the fruit, but eat the rind. I laugh. I laugh until I start to cry when I think about myself and my folks and the children. My fathers sit on benches. Their flesh count every plank. The slats leave dents of darkness deep in their withered flank, and they are gnarled like broken candles and waxed and burned profound. They say, but sugar, it was our submission that made your world go round. Those pleated faces, I see the auction block, the chains and slavery's coffles, the whip, the lash and stock. My father's speaking voices that shred my fact and sound. They say, but sugar, it was our submission that made your world go round. They laugh to keep from crying. They shuffle through their dreams. They stepped and fetched a country and wrote the blues and screams. I understand their meaning. I understand their meaning. It could and did derive from living on the edge of death. They kept my race alive by wearing the mask.
We would like to thank the Embracer of the Dream supporters, the African Network of Southwest Florida, Scanlon Auto Group, Lexus and Acura, Dr. Peter Ndiang'ui and family, Royal Palm Masonic Lodge number 512, Eta Alpha Zeta chapter of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated, and the Lee County Black History Society.